Would you look at that sweet new intro coming in for episode 19? It's Potty Potty, and over there to your right is Chewie, the Canadian. Chewie, how you doing?
Good potty. Things are going okay here. How about you?
They're going all right. I heard there was some kind of sickness in your family. How's that going?
Oh yeah. Amelia now has a ear infection this week, so that's the week's docket on the sick list.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, other than that, some big news here. A lot of you'll be watching me on the right of potty, but many of you now can be listening on any of your major podcast networks. So we're now on Google Podcast, Amazon Podcast, Spotify. So you don't have to pull up the video. You can turn us on in your car on your way to work or on your way home from work. So all the links will be posted in the video and we'll send it out as well.
Wow, Chewy, that's awesome. Really taking Rinkside into a whole new dimension, from an audio perspective. Just the ability to, have something in the background playing while your eyes or other interests are occupied. So, driving home from work's a great time to hop on Rinkside. Or, there's a lot of viewers that love watching us and then listening to us for a second time because you never know what you might find when you hop on for a Rinkside rewind. So, Chewy, we got a pretty big episode. Tell me what's hopping off in Chewy's corner.
Yeah, nothing too much this week. I was scrolling through Mr. B collectibles and noticed that they also do other stuff like comics. I was looking at their cards, but saw you could
Mm.
get some comic books, some gift cards, and some non-sports stuff. So I was looking through that. I've never collected comics. I thought it was really cool though. Maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll have to start there. But other than that, Chewy's corner's been quiet. How about Potty's penthouse? I heard you met up with some of the goals folks.
Oh, I did, and I have that. And actually, I have a photo of them. What I'm saving for our guest of honor today. I have it linked up in a different
All right.
slide. But all over here in Potty's penthouse, you can see us Chewy just slide over there. I'm sitting here on the edge of the couch, and you're kind of over there. I had a chance to kind of look at some things. And what I wanted to look at in Potty's penthouse today was the performance of Potty over the 20 games that I was in on Dublin and then the 14 games I've been here on Florida. So pulling that up now. And what I want to call out is that it is obviously there's like pros and cons. If you look at the face-offs over here in Florida, I've performed lower, but on a production standpoint, I have produced higher. I did have a pass shoot bias adjustment, which could have incorporated, and I've invested a lot into speed. But I think it just shows to go that if you apply progressions, that you can really change your performance. Because I would say only having 3 assists in 20 games, even with 9 hits, I do like the 56. So I'm it went okay with Dublin, but I feel like in Florida, it's kind of despite the 52% on the faceoffs, I feel like it's going in a better direction, having only been 14 games. So just wanted to explore these statistics with you. What are your perceptions on these, Chewy?
Yeah, yeah. It's always interesting to see how line shakeups and you know playing with other players turns out. That's awesome that you're producing some more goals this second half of the season on Florida. Hopefully that continues. And one cool thing as well, if we look at one of the players that was sent from Florida back to Dublin, Rock Steele, he's kind of on the similar trajectory. So he had, I think, 4 points in Florida in 20 games, and now coming to Dublin, he's on 7 points. So 4 goals, 3 assists. So similar increase in production. It's interesting how that works. Two players being traded, and then they both produce more on their new teams. Lineup shakeups, different line mates. strategies, working better for certain players. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, very much so. Really an interesting dynamic there. So that's what was popping off in the penthouse. Um, we've got a good show in store. We've got the standings updated for you, of course, and then we've
Yep.
got. Did you have something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, haha, cool. Then we've also got a special stat category where today we're looking at shots on goal or the SOG. Then we got our plays of the week and a special interview with Squibbs. Okay, so let's move on to the standings. Here they are. And, let's make sure we call these out for the people on the podcast that are, listening to us today. What are you seeing here, Chewy?
Yeah, so up top, similar to last week. So last week was only 2 games, and these standings do include day 1 of this week. So there's been 3 games since last week. We still got a 4-way tie for first. Alaska, Las Vegas, Jacksonville, and Turku, all with 55 points. Their order is kind of split up by goal differential. Redwater, unfortunately, took an L on their 9-game win streak today, so they're sitting at 50 points at 5th. Dublin and Florida, the big game of the night. We were all waiting for it. Dublin came up victorious 2-1, and they break the tie there. So Dublin's up in 6th with 49 points. Florida 7th with 47 points. And then we'll go through this really quick. Tennessee 37 points, 8th place. Albuquerque 9th, 2 points behind Rome, another 3 points behind Florence, and then we got Boston, San Diego, Norfolk, Honolulu, and Melbourne sitting at the basement, keeping it warm for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keeps me, reminds me of that movie It, where it was in the basement with the Georgie or, oh God. Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
hey,
So
Rome.
really quick,
Yep.
what did you think of the game today? The big Florida Dublin game. I mean, we saw how many
Yes.
trades between the two teams this season, and I think what Squibbs posted, it was like 8 players were traded this season, and now, and then yeah, the first game that they all see each other.
Yeah, interesting, right? I thought it was a really tight game for like a good kind of portion of
Yeah.
the game, and then yeah, like the ringing sound of that puck going against the cage, like happened so close, and I don't know those whenever I'm in like a coaching or like a leadership position, I feel like, man, like this only happens to our team, but I'm sure this happens to really every team. And it's just like, that's what, the luck of the draw is when a shot goes in. Most likely it's probably not going into the actual goal. What I'll say from a statistics perspective is though Pawtai did 0 things like no hits, no shots. Oh, actually, there was one shot and it was a hell of a shot. There was a huge rebound after it, but, no, assists or points. I did have the lowest time on ice of anybody on the entire team with 9 minutes
Oh
and
wow.
29 seconds. I'm grateful for every second I got on the ice, but I feel like the dice kind of just got rolled not in exactly my favor there. And I wish I had been on like right at the end because I know I would have sunk that goal and sent us into OT. But hey, I thought it was a really cool matchup and like I appreciated the sportsmanship and level of competition demonstrated by both sides.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the post thing. I think we hit Stone's post a couple times as well. You definitely hear and remember it when it's your team shooting. It's always tough though when it rings so close on an open net.
Yes, absolutely. And, speaking of open nets, let's look at the minors. We have, wow, quite the spread here. From a point perspective, we've got Iceland number one with 37 points, and then down all the way, tied for, I guess, like, technically the points are the same, but it's a different ranking. But Warsaw is number seven, Manitoba number eight. Both have 23 points. However, the number four slot is the one where you can get into the playoffs themselves. So just 6 more points would bring either of these teams up to 29. I think that based on what I've seen, as a minors coach this season and my last season in the minors, there's like really competitive um, players as well as leadership that are applying themselves. I think it's a new breed of just talent coming out of the minor system, and I think
Yeah.
it's only going to continue to grow and bubble up and make it more. I think that there'll be larger teams where there are more staff positions as players begin to say, hey, I want to be a part of this organization, I'm willing to stay on you with as an affiliate for more than a year, I want to take a staff role. I think that these teams will get even stronger, and the incorporation of data and like data driven analysis, I think there's going to be a prevalence of that. It's certainly beginning to impact teams in the pros, and I can see it kind of dribbling down to the minors as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. Miners have been the best teams we've seen since I'd say one of the most full. Like each squad has like between 15 and 19 players right now. A lot of players have been in the minors for a few seasons, so you're seeing some really good hockey down there. And like you said, a lot of players are kind of like, oh, you know what? I like Manitoba, or I like Saskatoon, or I like this team. I'm gonna reach out to the affiliate so they can draft me, so I can stay with this minor team, and maybe next season help them win a cup. So it's really cool to see those storylines build up. Hopefully we see more returning coaches, new coaches like Gunny and Rose on Atlantic, not me, but Tomeo Rose. I know Carissa on Manitoba, Hume on Malmo, all new coaches, and a lot of returning coaches like you, Potty. Unfortunately, I think you'll be focusing your time more on Florida next season. So hopefully, you have one more bang with Warsaw. You can make a run at the playoffs, but I think this is just like the best quality minors games and just a run minors league we've had.
Yes, absolutely. Things have really gone in a positive direction over there. Um, so let's take a moment to look at a statistics category here. We've got shots on goal. SOG. So at the top is our rookies ranked 1 through 10, with Taylor John Reeves, unsurprisingly at the top with 54. We've got Skylar Stevens, number 2, Fletcher Reed. Fletcher Reed's an owner of Boston as well as a rookie.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So he took over. Eric Newton was the original owner last season, and then Fletcher Reed kind of took over mid to late last season, and then I mean he was in the minors at the time on Tokyo, and then obviously being an owner of the team slid himself right up onto the main roster. So yeah, his first pro season, and
Wow.
not a bad one at it because he's I'll cut you off there a little bit, but it's interesting to see the rookie shots on goal leaders correlating with the points leaders. So you mentioned TJR, 54 shots. He's leading with 10 points, 7 goals. Skylar Stevens and Fletcher Reed both below him. Same with the points. Fletcher Reed with 7, Skylar Stevens with 6. So there's definitely a big correlation with shots on goals and goals. I mean, makes sense. So yeah, this rookie race is a tight one this season.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. And, with that in mind, shout out to Crispy Bacon down there who did make the top 10 list with number 9 with 23 shots. And I believe that is in combination for his performance on Dublin as well as Florida.
Yes, yeah,
Um,
that'd be joined.
and then shout out to the leaders from the pro sides. We've got Tom Krieg with 138, Grizzle Bear 131, Victor Davis 113, and those are our top 3. Kind of holding down the bottom is we got Jake Anderson, Mojo Rising tied for 8th, and then Leighton Lee holding down number 10.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Tom Krieg. He's leading in shots on goal and in goals. I think tonight he got a few that's not calculated. So I think he's very close to breaking the record. I think he's sitting
Oh,
at like 26. He only needs 3 more goals in like 14 games. So unless this man gets injured at the beginning of every game, we'll see that
mhm.
record broken this season.
We saw it in our crystal ball on the rink side. Okay, cool. So let's see. That was our special. So now we're going to transition over to our plays of the week. And we're going to start it off here with the price looks like, it was right on this one. We got who sinks it in. That full name of this person, Price something?
Oliver Price.
Oliver Price. Oliver Price. What a twist at the end. And, I'll pass it over to Chewie for our second goal.
Yeah, next up we got Stig Magnus, big Canadian player here coming for the shootout, and he keeps his team in it with that one.
Oh,
Coming in the nice little toe drag. We'll watch it one more time. For people listening, you can't see it, but come on the YouTube video to watch it. Nice goal to get right past the global goalie. I believe Duncan was playing that one.
yeah. What a goal that was. Agnes himself. Well, we've got Gunny coming up right down the chimney, um, pulling down a big old sack of presents on the way home. It went right over the goalie's shoulder, sat him right on his ass, and the puck twirled around. I thought that was a fantastic top shelf goal.
Yep. And here we go. Gray's possibly the goal of the year. Um, I mean, let's watch this in slow mo here. We're getting the camera angle, big cameraman angle. A nice little deke gets past. Was that four
Oh,
defenders, and then comes right in, jukes out Stone. Look at this. One, two, three, four. Four defenders on the blue line. Gray is all alone, coming in, goes past everyone, and then pots it in. I think I got this wrong though. That might be Victor Davis, not Gray. I think I screwed that one up. But Victor Davis, one of the other best goal scorers in the league here.
wow. What a fantastic goal. And I thought it
We'll
was
have
cool. Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah, I was gonna
verify
say we have
that.
to fire the production person for putting the wrong name there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know. I might have done that. Number three? Okay. Well, all right, let's see. Moving on. Next up, we've got oh, look at that. Is that Matt Green on a breakaway? Oh, with a clean finish. Third period. I don't know if that was a game-winning goal. Did that have significance or was it all just, a fraud and a
San
sham and he
Diego,
was
yeah, that was the game winner. San Diego won 3-1 in that one, I believe.
all right, and what a play it
Matt
was.
Green doesn't get many opportunities to score, but he'll take the opportunity against his old team for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty. And next up.
We got Voodoo. This man, the black magic wizard Voodoo, coming in and just like I don't even like just holds the backhand and then a nice backhanded shot right over the shoulder of Chris McBride. He was doing all sorts of black magic to get that one in.
Black Magic reminds me of the Ninja Black Sox. That's ninjablacksox.com. Go there to download the Pawtai app today. But we've got some crazy performance cross sport action here. Watch this. Comes Cornwall and boom, Douglas Britton knocks in like a more like a bunt, if something, kind of bunted it in right down the third base line and knocked it in. What a great goal that was. That was our play of the week.
And I'll give you a fun fact here, Potty, with goals like that. So if you bat a putt in with your stick over your shoulder, so like anywhere above your shoulder, it won't count. It'll be called
Oh,
high sticking. So you can only like baseball the puck in the net if the stick is below your shoulder when you make
wow.
contact.
So that's
So
even
fun
harder to
fact on
do.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, let's move on over to our interview with Squibbs.
So our guest today, he is a three-time Pro All-Star, one-time Pro All-Star coach. He's a one-time, possibly two-time World Cup selection because I think that's outdated. And friend of the pod now, Squibbles Tkachuk. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Chewy, Potty, how are you guys?
Doing
Not bad.
fantastic.
I'm getting a little hungry after thinking about my top 5 fast foods this week, and yeah. But for the folks who maybe doesn't know who you are, why don't you give everyone a little elevator pitch of who's Squibbles Kachuk?
Yeah, so name Squibbles Tkachuk. Yeah, here in this league, couple other leagues, he's Squibbs or some variation of it. But I feel like most people either know me as Squibbs or Squibbles. Um, I would say I'm the owner of the Florence Firebirds here. Fun fact about my name and how I came up with it. Squibbles is an undergrad nickname of mine. Got it my freshman year at a party. Squibbles, as in Scott Squibbles from Monsters University. Um, I was uh, drunk and dancing in the basement, and one of the seniors took a picture of me, posted it on our Facebook page with a picture of Scott Squibbles and the scene of him dancing in Monsters University, and Squibbles stuck. And so I like it. It's cooler than John. Nobody likes going by their government names. So and then I didn't get into hockey until 2020 during the summer, and
Okay.
actually joined a fantasy league. Took over. It was a 32 team league and took over the Ottawa Senators. So I had 95% Senators on there. So I had to learn who that roster was, and that's how I became a fan of the Senators.
Nice.
But I absolutely loved Brady Tkachuk, and my build is same height, same weight, same archetype. So just progressed a little differently than his, but that's how Squibbles Tkachuk was born.
Sweet. I actually used to live in Ottawa, with where Devin lives now too. Watch a lot of Ottawa hockey games. They're fun to go to, super cheap. So if you're ever up north of the border, we should hit up an Ottawa Senators game
Joey Rab and I are planning on going to a Blue Jackets Ottawa game in April next year. So
in Ottawa or
um,
in Columbus.
in Columbus,
Okay. Okay.
Joey's talked a lot about Columbus having a really good home facility, so uh, an in-game atmosphere. So I wanted to check that out, but two, be able to watch the Sens play. I've never watched a hockey game live before, so I'll
Sweet.
be doing that one later this month at a Indy Fuel game, an
Oh, nice.
ECHL team.
Nice. Nice.
Um, but yeah, the pro side, I'm excited for at least the Sens. Joey's a huge Blackhawks fan, so maybe at some point we'll get up there and watch a Blackhawks game as well. So
Sweet. So really quick, you talked about your player. Why don't you tell us a little bit like what else do you do in the league? Because I know personally what you do, but for the people who maybe don't, why don't you give a little summary of that as well?
yeah, goodness. So first and foremost, since the beginning, pretty much of the very first season, I took over as the social media director. So I help run the Goals official Twitter, Goals Miners Twitter, and then personally the Firebirds Twitter, Tokyo Tigers Twitter, and then Squibbs Twitter. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, creating all those fake emails was the least fun part about that. So the social media director early on when we had the true NHL teams, my job was a little bit more complicated as I had to monitor, not what just I was posting, but what anybody else was posting, to make sure that we didn't infringe on any pro rights and
Right.
uh, possibly get in trouble there. So I'm also the technical head of the graphics and media department. Um, but I just let the graphics team do what they do. Grims, you, Chewie, and a couple other guys. That's not my field of expertise, but it falls under the category of social media. So, like I said, technical head, but don't do much there. And then I trust Heather for the TikTok.
Nice.
Um, Outside of that, I help with some of the stats, mostly Firebird stats, but occasionally when I can, I try to help grab a couple others. I'm also a streamer, currently streaming the games right now.
Nice.
Um, and then sometimes I help with the back end stuff, putting progressions in, such like that, as well as trying to help do lead content every once in a while when I can. So that's,
Yeah.
I'd say that's a very large league side of things that I do for the goals.
Yeah, definitely a nice long list and a huge shout out. So later this week, we'll be releasing the rosters again public to the Xbox. A big shout out to you that like audited pretty much like all the pro teams this past weekend, pretty much yesterday. So yeah, big shout out to that. So everyone, once your rosters come out, you know why.
And they're coming out.
I just hope that they're all accurate.
And where are they coming out on?
Xbox One.
Or so not the X or S series.
No, because it's not cross-gen, I don't believe. But starting next season,
Next
it'll be on
season.
the X. Yep.
Wow, so that's a lot of things you do for the league if you could have a title. It could be anything. It could be CEO, could be, head of business development. Like, what title do you think is most fitting for you? And B, you can be super humble here, or you can like just be like, this is the title that represents the contributions I want, that I do and I want to do.
I mean, as if you look at the team staff or the team info page, I went a little bit more adventurous than just kind of like listing out, what other teams do with just like owner, coach, such like that. So I try to have a little flair for that kind of stuff. So like for the Firebirds, I just put owner slash president, and then I have the senior vice president of hockey operations, senior vice president of scouting, and the list goes on like that. I imagine we'll talk about that at some point tonight. But from a league side, I'm pretty happy with social media director. And that encompasses, I would say, 85% of what I do from the bigger side, and then just stats. It's never glamorous. Nobody there gets any glamour besides JJ Mitchell's last season and Shaboy Sean this season. So, and streaming, it's just shared between the 5-6 of us that do it, and there's no glory in it. We do it and have fun with it. Oh, I mean, a little glory for Krieg, but supposedly best commentator ever. Debatable, but yeah, I'm happy with social media director. I wear a lot of hats for the league, but do what I can to help it grow.
Excellent. And we have got a question for you. Speaking of growth, you joined Discord. Our records indicate here on Rinkside that you joined Discord on February 19th, 2020, but you didn't join Goals until November 18th, 2021. The viewers want to know, what did you do in the interim? Were you a member of any other leagues? And is Goals your favorite sim league?
So Goals was my first sim league that I was in. I actually joined. I was one of the very early people into the server. Probably like May 10th, May 13th range of 2021. I had jumped in and out of the server a couple of times. One, just owners chat, messing around with, maybe it was Trevor, or maybe it was Matt, or whoever it was, just kind of joking and whatnot. Other times, it was to test something. A couple of times I know I jumped out of the server to test the bot that tells us if somebody has left the server. Test the bot to see if they come back. And so I would say that November time was either the last time that I jumped out messing with somebody or jumped out for a bot test. And so yeah, I was here since the very beginning. Was the 13th overall pick in the very first draft. Prior to that, was in a lot of fantasy leagues across all four major sports, and really cut back onto that to just a couple of fantasy baseball leagues and probably about 7 fantasy hockey leagues. So hockey is quickly rose in my sports rankings. Didn't watch it at all, and then 2020 I joined the fantasy hockey league, and from there it took off. But I joined Discord probably that time when I joined was probably for one of those fantasy sport leagues, and so that I would say that's when I joined. And then Goals is my favorite sim league. I'm in 2 other ones. Sable ran by Sam Trunin, or Sam Yeager in Goals. I'm the third baseman for the Rockhounds there, and Project X Football, which Ania Scola / Evan started with Sam Trunin as well earlier this year. And I'm quarterback and assistant general manager for the Steelers, which is Evan's team. So those are the 3 sim leagues I'm in. But yeah, Goals is my favorite. Not just have I put a lot of time and effort into the league, but I know I've enjoyed it more than I would say the other two, but those other two were fairly new. So
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. So you got a few different leagues, fantasy. Um, Speaking of fantasy, I know this off season, one of Florence's fantasies was to be fighting for a playoff spot. You guys, to a lot of people, dominated free agency, picking up a goalie, picking up a sniper, picking up a couple defensemen, and I think everyone had you guys, in a playoff spot, possibly ahead of Dublin or Turku as well. And right now we're not there, but we're close. So why don't you tell us about kind of that journey through the free agency? Talk about where your team's at, and if you guys think you'll still be able to hit that playoff spot this season.
yeah, back with free agency, um, selling it to a guy like Ibram Gaunt or Ramzacek wasn't exactly the hardest thing to do. Both of them were former players of mine. Gaunt traded earlier in season 3. Thought he was going to retire, so traded him to Vegas to have one last ride, and ultimately he hung on, stayed in the league. And when he said he was going to test free agency, I immediately reached out to him again, and it was probably 4 seconds into our conversation, he said, "Yep, I'll come back." So that made me happy. Ramzacek had discussed with him at trade deadline. He had wanted to come back home a little bit. I had taken him in the expansion draft in season 3. He had bounced around a couple of times since his get go. So took him, and then unfortunately he was just one of the better players that we had to expose in the season 4 expansion draft. And so, selling it to him, wasn't the hardest thing, but trying to outsell Rome made it a little challenging. So, did what I could, but having a leg up there helped. The guy like Bachaglupi in goal, when I lost Leonhardt at the very beginning of season 4, I was disappointed just because I had missed out on being able to draft a guy like Jan Lashik, who I knew would have been very high on my board come draft time. And so, pick that I had traded down with who was it, Matt, so they could grab Jan. When I lost Leonhardt, that burned a little bit, but at that point I was like, all right, who's the upcoming free agent goalie? Saul was young and loopy, and I said, all right, I know I'm going to be able to target one of them. I was a teammate with Loopy back in season 1 in Calgary, so being active as an owner is always going to go a long way, and just helping sell your team and your product. And so, just having casual conversations in Twitch chat or general chat, help just kind of foster just that kind of respect between us. As like I said, already teammates. That part wasn't hard to sell. And then when he said he was going to test free agency, I knew I had a long outside shot, but figured I'd still try it. Last season we had felt like we, after Leonhardt, just was pretty much a goalie away from making into that last playoff spot. Got into the final week and was close to the end, but fell just short. Then Nordstrom was a tough sell to get him to come over from Dublin, to come over from the winning ways there. But we thankfully Rose put him on the trade block earlier in season 4. Had a chance to talk to him at least and kind of lay the foundation before I kind of jumped in to free agency and really sold it to him on what he could do for Florence. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, his first All-Star game. So immediately come over, getting top line minutes now. I know that was something he was really kind of hoping for, and I really think he's starting to take off now. A little bit slow at the beginning for him of the season, but like the entire team, starting off 0-7 is going to be a hard start to overcome. But I think we're getting there. It's not ideal to start 0-7 after having such high expectations and try to tell everybody, hey, we're going to bounce back. We're going to be all right. We're going to stay active. We did just that. couple weeks ago traded for Marcus Fury from Rome. Thought that he would, provide a lot of, solid depth for us while also, not sacrificing too much. Losing a guy like Benji Idaho, while he was a little lower talent on the ice compared to Fury, just a key part of our locker room for the last few seasons. So, yeah, I would say, we're still on the outside of the playoff spot, but we're approaching fast. Albuquerque had like a 6-7 game losing streak going into week 9, so last week. So that gave us a chance to start catching up, and I think Strats and the lines are finally clicking all together. So a 1-0 loss against Jacksonville today, where the stats were pretty much the same all the way through. Wasn't a win on the scoreboard, but felt like a personal victory, being able to hold them just to 1 goal and play competitive all the way to the end. So I still think that we'll push for it. I think that push is starting and time is winding down for it, but I still think that there's a good shot that we'll be able to snag that 4th playoff spot.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good analysis. Potty, what do you got for Squibbs?
Squib, so you touched on this earlier and I thought it was kind of interesting, but I looked at like the number of staff roles amongst all teams and goals, and the one with the highest amount, there was like 8 staff members, and then you was the Florence Firebirds. And I guess the question that I have prepared is, do you feel that that contributes to success on the ice due to support from such a large office, or to a bureaucratic burden which slows the organization from adapting to changes it requires to succeed?
That is a hell of a worded question. Props to you on that. I wouldn't say that a lot of what is being input all the time is ice related stuff. A lot of the time it's personnel discussions. It's do we look at this trade? Do we look at this player? There's quite a few times, there has been at least in the past, where some of my staff members said, just work your magic, and then we assign 4 free agents in free agency, and I just update them on what's kind of happening and keep them in the know. There's a lot of times though that I'll come to them and I'll pitch them an idea, and they'll tell me that my head's in the clouds and I'm thinking a little too grand, so they'll help pull me back down to earth. So I hold everybody's opinion equally there. Whether that is line strats or personnel decisions, or really anything. I try to be a sponge, as well as just try to teach them anything and everything I know. I know I'm not the smartest guy in the league when it comes to this stuff, so I'm not going to try to tell them that I am and hope that it all works out. But I'm going to take the blame for the losses, and I'm going to give the credit to the entire group when we win. So, thankfully, the alliteration line, as we kind of phrased it, has worked out well for us. That came about with just a wide discussion. So a lot of it's more of idea generation and discussion like that, rather than direct input. And so I would say having all of those guys is just very helpful, because I might get 5 guys who input something just because the other 2 or 3 might be tied up doing something. So and I know that because all of us have worked together now for a while, we all trust each other. And if there's 5 people out of the 8 of us that are all on the same page, as long as we have a good reason for whatever the decision is, I know the other 3 can get on board with it. So
Yeah.
definitely doesn't hamper us, but
Mm-hmm. And speaking of, you could have 5 people there in the organization. If you could have 5 years ahead of where we are today, where do you see the goals league at that point?
I see us at least expanding to 20 pro teams in the near future. not this off season, maybe not even next, but once we have very strong ownership candidates, once we have the support staff, streamers, stats, rosters, um, once we get that kind of put into place, I easily see us going to 20 pro teams just because there's a lot of minor league players right now who are affiliates that are pushing for pro spots. And when only 8 pro spots can open, and some of these teams who have those openings are cap restrained, so they have to pass over guys who've already been in the league 2 3 years for a brand new player just because of cap. That makes it hard to always try to tell a 70 overall sniper that, hey, you're worthy of this pro spot, but we have to take this 58 overall because of cap. So
Sure.
yeah, I see us expanding to 20 pro teams, and I think of minor leagues expands to 10 at that point. And we kind of stay at this 2 team shared ownership affiliate program. And then instead of going to 20, full teams, pros and minors, just the 2010, and then creating a couple of like junior league teams. So that way the new guys who create are able to play against each other and not, be playing against a guy who's been in the minors for 4 seasons already.
Totally.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a very realistic vision for sure.
Very logical and makes certain sense, and it relies on underlying like emotions that people feel from being a part of something but so close to something. Makes sense that like the lava's going to break through. It's going to split the plates into more plates and more teams. So I'm all for the fire breaking through the ocean floor and erupting in the magma that is goals. I'm in a pyroclastic flow. I want to shout out again Squibbs for coming aboard for this interview. Thank you so much. It was great connecting with you. And wait, before we go, I've got a photo of a. There we go.
Here we go.
We've got Pawtai, Rob, Squibbs, Bacon, all eaten at the Big Bear Biscuits in Indianapolis. What a fun time that was.
It was a great time. Hell of a breakfast, man. That was a lot of food.
That was a lot of food. I ate that for dinner and I felt satisfied. All right.
Joey and I joked about it,
Mhm.
but yeah, we didn't need another meal the rest of that day. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, take it easy and we'll look forward to having you on the next time.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks
See
so
ya.
much, Squibs.
All right, we're back from our interview with Squibbs. What a good time, and that was really great seeing the picture at the end. Chewy, what'd you think of this episode tonight?
Yeah, it was a good one. Nice to talk to Squibs. Nice that you got to meet up with him. Hopefully, we could set up some more goals, meetups, maybe do a live Rinkside show. That'd be pretty sweet.
Ooh, yeah,
Um, Live Rinkside in person with some guests and, maybe some partying after.
yeah.
But
That's what I'm
we're
talking
not
about.
quite done yet because we got to talk about our top fives this week, Potty.
Oh, yeah, you're completely right. That's right. So I guess we're not done with this episode yet. We've got our top fives coming in over here. So, ooh, that's not right. All right, top fives coming in. Chewy, let me start this off because we're going to be talking about um, fast food restaurants. And
Yep.
um, I've got like a clear number five coming in to our top fives. If you're ready for me to start things off, unless you've got
Let's
a,
go.
alrighty, here we come. Taco Bell.
Oh.
I love the density of this menu. It has so many different options, and they each come with their own kind of like product categories of flavor. They're also super creative with their ideas on breakfast. I've never eaten breakfast there. I don't think I'll ever eat breakfast there, but the fact that they create breakfast there that is so unique, like a taco made out of, or like a French toast, but it's a taco, and instead of there
Oh.
being lettuce in the middle, it's just meat. Like stuff like that, I think is like pretty outlandish and therefore delicious. So let's hear what your top five is.
Interesting. Quick before man,
Uh huh.
I love Taco Bell first,
Yeah.
and we don't have breakfast at Taco Bell's here in Canada. So
Oh.
that sounds super interesting. I'd love to try it. Um, One thing I read online. Now, I never fact checked this, so this could be completely wrong. But I've heard that Taco Bell nets the lowest calories. Like it's one of the lowest calorie fast food places to go. Now, I don't know if that includes the aftermath of the Taco Bell in the calorie conversation, but yeah, if you want to be healthy, apparently Taco Bell may be healthier than other places.
I
There's no there's
yeah.
no validation behind that though.
Yeah, they could just. To me, it's like I don't know if I believe that. I feel like Subway would be a little bit more of like the healthiest, fast food
Actually,
option.
the Subway buns are actually very high in sugar and calories.
How interesting. That's why
Yeah.
they taste so good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of good, let's go to my number 5, and we're gonna go with Thai Express.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a nice fast food Thai place in University. Pad Thais, the spicy beef, spicy chickens, spring rolls. I personally love Thai food. Been to Thailand, uh, had Thai food straight in Thailand, and I'm not saying it's the same, but when I eat at Thai Express, like I don't feel like I'm missing out on the experience because their food is quite good. Um, yeah, I mean it's good.
And how do you spell that? Thai, or is it
Yeah,
Tha?
yeah.
Because there's two dots, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they have the two dots. I think, yeah, I think that's just like the design thing. But
Okay,
yeah,
because
it's like
it's just got
short
two.
for Thailand, Thai.
Kind of looks like a foot, or like two sets of eyes and a little nose. Uh, but yeah, no, that sounds really delicious. And it's good to hear. I didn't know you went to Thailand, and I didn't know that you have like an expertise. Well, like a certain understanding of like what good food, Thai food tastes like. So it's good to hear your
Yeah,
your
I-
validation of this.
yeah. I feel like we see a lot of Panda Express on people's lists. I feel like if there was a Panda Express close by, I feel like I'd eat there a lot because that place sounds also like really good.
Hmm. It's pretty good. Maybe it could be good to hear your opinion of it compared to Thai Express. All right, coming in at number 4, we've got Culver's. I don't know if they got these, up in Canada, but these they don't even like necessarily have these in all the states in the United States. These are kind of more of like a Midwestern, Wisconsin,
Huh?
like Michigan. They've got like butter burgers. Frozen custard is known here. They've got like a Mr. Happy or Mr. I don't know, Mr. something meal, but it comes with like it's called a Mr. Scoopy meal. And
Mr.
Scoopy,
Scoopy.
yeah, Scoopy is the mascot, and he's like a scoop of ice cream in a cone. And you
Okay.
get like a scoop of Culver's. You get to choose it. It's like a really good value meal. As an adult, you could eat one and be like, okay, that felt like pretty good. I could eat another one probably, but I could also not do that, and I'd be okay with just eating one. Um, so
Nice. Yeah, we don't have that here. That might have to be part of the Rinkside tour when I come down. We'll have to try that.
absolutely add it to the old list. So coming in with your number 4.
At number 4, Casada. This one, I mean, I think so. Like when I was like picking my list, I like went through our Skip the Dishes app to like see where we ordered from. I think like every second order came from Casada. They have really good burritos and tacos. It is a chain restaurant, so um, you know, it's not like the greatest quality food, but like it's always just so consistent. Like you're always getting a good burrito or a good bowl or good tacos from here. Um, yeah, this is I think like one of the only places we get our burrito late night burritos from.
Do you have a Qdoba in Canada?
Qdoba, no, that doesn't sound familiar.
I wonder if this quesada is Qdoba.
Interesting. I'm looking at the logo. Like the logo is definitely different. Um, no, it looks like the Qdoba's in Canada, so I think it's a different place.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to. Is that good? Is it good though?
Yeah, I mean it's all right. It's like you've heard of Chipotle?
Yep, yep, yep. We got that.
That's like it's like different than Chipotle. Chipotle's more of I don't know. We have like deeper options. I don't know.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
have Chipotle. Chipotle is great. It's just the only one's like an hour and a half for me, so it's
Oh,
I don't know. don't really eat it.
It's a while. All right, coming in with number 3. Oh, Wendy's. Uh, look at it. There's a lot going on. They've updated their logo. They've also made their what are they called? They're not smoothies.
Oh, the Frosties.
Frosties. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are so good.
Have you ever ordered a small Frosty from them in the past year?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Did you? Was it this big?
Um, yeah, pretty. No, I don't know. Like it's a like a small cup. I don't know.
I'm telling
It's
you.
not like tiny. Like it. There, I know they have like a snack size here, which is like really tiny, but their small is like still pretty decently sized. The thing with Wendy's, especially in Canada, their sizes are like bigger than like other restaurant sizes. Like a medium at Wendy's is a large at McDonald's in Canada. So like their small is pretty decent size for us here.
Okay. Well, in America, at least in the Midwest, this terrible tradition has begun where they are now offering small um, Frosties. They're this big. They're like 2 inches tall. They can't be more than 6 ounces. And it's like,
Okay. Yeah, that sounds smaller than what they are here.
and I ordered one and it's like, wow. They've like shrunk. They sell like cans of Coke that are 12 ounces and then they sell like the little ones that are like 8 ounces. But like,
Right.
you know what you're getting there because there's something to compare it to. But on the menu at Wendy's, you can't get. Anyways, so that's my gripe about them. Other than that, I really like the Baconator. I like I think the Baconator is like probably my favorite thing that they've got. And the fries are good as well, and they're good with the spicy nuggets over there
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
So I'll give them to Wendy's. All right, number
Sweet.
3.
All right, Philly listeners, close your eyes because we got my favorite number 3, Filthy Phillies cheesesteak and poutineery. So they're a small chain, like franchise, close to like Ontario. I don't even know if they're outside of Ontario. Like they're expanding, kind of like where I am. So there's a few in the area. They've like their steaks are like I think a little over 12 inches, but they're like packed. It's like when you eat it, there's no chance you're eating it like in a car or like at your desk in the office. Like you need like a full like table. Like you need a table, and then you need like 30 napkins. Like you're not pulling out your phone when you're eating. You're not doing anything. You're eating this cheesesteak sandwich, and then you're like taking a shower after. Like it's so good. Um, I will say every time I eat it, I feel like I need to go to sleep, so I also can't eat it, like, during a work day or else by, like, 2 p.m., I'm, like, done for the day.
Oh yeah.
Uh, might be all the steak that's in it, it's just, like, putting me to sleep, but, yeah, this place is so good. Um, we order here every once in a while. I get the Big Texan, has Philly cheesesteak, pulled pork, fried onions, and then, obviously, all the rest of the toppings, so, yeah, that's
Wow.
my number 3.
Just like in Texas itself, I was there in Austin. They served them just like you were describing. But I've never actually had a sandwich that big, but it sounds delicious. And it made me think like in the Renaissance age, I think that I would have thrived on the fast food there because it would have been like big, like drumsticks of turkey would be like
Yeah.
that'd be like the McDonald's. That'd be like your Whopper. And I
Oh,
love
yeah.
those. So, uh, I love your description of the cheesesteak. We'll definitely need to bookmark that one and see what they can do. All right. Let's see. Number 2, we've got White Castle. Ooh, I like White Castle. I also associate White Castle with gambling because the few times that I've gone to the casino with my brother, and it's been low stakes. I'm talking like a few $100s, nothing like crazy. And,
Right.
played blackjack and I lost. This was before I went to Vegas and I was smart about it. This was like in my childish, 21 plus days. So, anyways, we would always on the way back, we would lose and then we'd get White Castle. So we'd eat, they've got these little tiny sandwiches. They're so good. You get them. They've got like onions, sometimes pickle. You can get them with like, you know, they're like real small. So they'd probably pair well with one of those little Wendy's smoothies. But they are also one of the few places that sometimes serves vanilla Coke, which is my favorite type of Coke, is the vanilla Coke. So
Nice.
I really like White Castle as like a number 2.
Nice. I've never been to White Castle. I associate it with Harold and Kumar. Go to White Castle. That's about
Nice.
all of the information I have on it.
It's all you need to know. All right.
All right.
Number 2.
So my number 2, probably the best place to get a chicken sandwich, Popeyes. I think I mean, I'll just keep it short and sweet, like their sweet heat sauce. The best spicy chicken sandwich from any place. Their fries are awesome, and yeah, I mean their shrimp. Popeyes has it all. Um, I'd say Chick-fil-A is probably like a close number 2 for me for like chicken sandwiches. But
Mm-hmm.
like my past few experiences there like haven't been great. I don't know. The sandwiches are starting to feel just like really like soggy all the time, which is weird because there's no sauce, which I also don't like. You have to put your own sauce, but Popeyes, the best chicken that you can get.
Best chicken, also best jingle. Love that chicken from Popeyes. I think that's one's like so fire. I wonder, like, do you think it sounds the same in like French, or like, do you think that they change it? In Canada, there's like province that speaks like French, right? Like Quebec,
Quebec, yeah, Quebec.
Quebec. Maybe we should. Is there anybody in the league from there that can verify this?
I think Alu is. I know he posts like half his progressions in French, so I
Oh,
feel like he's from Quebec. And I think there's some people that live like in Ottawa or close to Quebec where like there's still a lot of French speaking.
hmm,
Because yeah, there's still a lot of like secondary language French people all across the rest of Canada. So yeah, we'll have to find some French Popeyes commercials.
verify this. All right. Diving in for number 1. Ooh, Burger King. My favorite. And let me tell you straight up why Burger King is my favorite. And it's not because of their burgers. I don't think they're the king of the burger. They have some good burgers there, but they're not the king. What they have is this thing I put in the bottom right because I decided I didn't want to cover the entire screen. They have the frozen Coke. Let me tell you, frozen Coke is my all-time absolute favorite fast food item of any category. Doesn't matter. Frozen Coke versus pizza, frozen Coke versus hot dog, frozen Coke versus candy or ice cream. Frozen Coke always wins. I love frozen Coke. I love Slurpees. I go to 7-Eleven. I get Slurpees. I've gotten blue raspberry, pina colada. I've gotten the plain Coca-Cola. Let me tell you though, Slurpees are like really, really good, but frozen Coke has the best consistency. It's kind of like sucking on a cloud. It's really super tasty, and the consistency of flavor to ice is always maintained throughout the duration of your beverage experience. You don't have to worry about getting down to the bottom of it, and it just tastes and all like you're just, sucking on ice. At the end of the day, so basically, let me tell you, that's why it's so good. So Burger King, and they also have the chicken fries, which I believe is one of the most creative inventions of the chicken animal. That's like clearly, not like a limb. There's no fry that. So how is it created? I don't know. But they have one of the other things I really, really love is like dipping sauce. So dipping sauce is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
because to me I go to the level of I have a sauce that I basically dip the chicken fry into to cover it, and then I dip it into another sauce to have a different flavor. So I'll usually dip it into ranch to give it coating, and then I dip that into buffalo, or sometimes I might dip it
Nice.
into barbecue for like a little tang. Or you can get the different ones. Chick-fil-A has the Polynesian sauce that I think is really good.
Yeah,
So
that's a good one.
so yeah, I think the king with the frozen Coke. If the king did, let me tell you, one of the really like upsetting things in my life that I have to live with is I go to Burger King's and I ask, "Can I have a frozen Coke?" and they tell me the machine's broken, and that like ruins my entire experience. I still get the chicken fries, but I
Yeah, for
always
sure.
like I sometimes have to get the cherry flavor, you know, and
Yeah,
it's like a 6 out of 10 versus a 10 out of 10.
sweet. I don't think they don't have frozen Coke in Burger King here. If you missed it, Potty said it's like sucking off a cloud. Um, and yeah, Burger King is quite good. I love their milkshakes. I think that's like top tier. Burger King has one of the best
Yeah.
milkshakes.
Alrighty. So next up, got your number
And
one.
my number one, the McDonald's, or as my high school self called it, McDicks, or Rotten Ronnies, or whatever you want to call it. Um, I actually struggled with this one. I didn't want to put McDonald's at the top because I feel like that's such like a cliche answer. Um, but like they just have everything. Like if you want a chicken sandwich, you got the junior chicken, or now they have like the McCrispy. If you want a burger, they got the quarter pounder or Big Mac. They got donuts now. They got they got coffee. They got iced coffees. They got the fish fillet. Who, if you eat that, why do you eat that? Their chicken nuggets are top tier. They have a new spicy habanero sauce for their chicken nuggets. That is like the sauce to get. I
Mm,
mix that with the sweet and sour. So it's tough to beat McDonald's. Their fries are also probably one of the best fries out there. Um, yeah, so McDonald's had to go number one for me.
yeah. The golden arches are what they are. McDonald's used to be the most dominant, um, like highest grossing the fast food chain. Do you want to guess who the number one fast food chain is now?
Oh, I'm gonna go with. Oh man, hold on, give me one sec. I'm gonna say Wendy's.
Okay, Wendy's. I don't
I don't know.
I don't remember exactly what it is, but I know
Oh.
I no. But hold on, no, I have it pulled up here, so I'm going to show it in a
Oh,
second.
okay.
Um, I know that I think Subway is number two, but Subway used to be number one.
Oh,
Um,
right, right.
oh, I will let the viewers see it because now I just remembered what it is. But it is
S-
actually Starbucks.
Oh,
Starbucks
Starbucks. Yeah, that
classifies
makes sense.
with 45. It looks it's got to be
Billion?
45 billion dollars.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense. I mean, when you're selling coffees at $10 a piece, it's hard to you got to sell like 4 cheeseburgers just
yeah.
to match one coffee.
But it looks like I was wrong. It says Subway's not number two; they're number five. McDonald's is number two, so McDonald's is
Yeah,
still
yeah.
given a run for their number. And then there's this one at the bottom, I Dilao, I I Dilao, I Dilao. I don't know. Um, if anybody knows what that is, put it in a comment. Let us know. Do you shop there? Um, oh, that looks like it's in China. Do we have any
I think
goals?
that's Yeah, I think that's in the Philippines, or like out in Asia.
Yeah.
No, maybe it is China. I think you're right. That
Because
is
it has
China.
this flag for China.
Yeah, the
Do we have
flag there.
anybody in China that's in goals?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. One of like the biggest countries in the world would be up there just just
Yeah,
from their country, right?
yeah.
But yeah, KFC is a little shocking to me. I think this is worldwide, obviously, because there's like a Chinese chain. But I'm surprised with Domino's, to be honest, because personally, I think Domino's has one of the worst pizzas. Um,
I
I think
I
they're top. Yeah, go on. Are you
all
gonna
right.
defend them?
Yes. So let me tell you, out of transparency here, I did live within a 3-minute walk of a Domino's, and
Okay.
this was for 2 years, uh, and I was living with like my old best friend from high school. So we had a good time, like, late nights until lots of pizza. So I came to understand the Domino's pizza menu. What I would order from them is I would get the homemade pan pizza, which is different than
Okay.
you got to pay a little bit extra. And then I would get that with pineapple and bacon. Sometimes if I was really like filthy wealthy, I would pay like the extra $1.99 and get like ham and bacon on top of it as well.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but it's the homemade pan. It's like a sweet crust. It's so delicious. I really recommend you try it out before you give the shun on Domino's. And it was like a 555 deal, which is usually like 3 for $5.99. But now it works with like just 2 items. So, for $12, you get a pizza and some buffalo wings that aren't half bad. They're not the best wings in the world, but they're still pretty
Right.
good. And so you're walking out of there paying, $13.58 with tax, for a meal, I think is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, you know what? Okay. When I was in university, I'd say yes, we ordered Domino's a ton, and it wasn't bad. And we had the similar deal. I think it was like 7.99. You get like a medium pizza, and then 7.99 you get like wings or like pasta or something. So yeah, similar deal. Um, but over time, I think now this is a conspiracy, but I think they've like lowered their quality of like toppings because their toppings now I find are like pretty garbage.
Mm.
Um, and you know what? Now that I'm not in university, I'm kind of like a food snob. So like I only get like good pizza. And I just can't like I don't like I will go like if I'm with people, I will go out of my way to make sure we don't order Domino's now. Now, I may have to try your home style pizza pie, but for now I'm going to have to say Domino's is worse than
Domino's.
pizza pizza.
Oh, worse than pizza. All right. Little Caesars? I guess so. All right. Well, cool. So that was our top 5. We've had our interview with Squibbs. So wishing everyone that's watching a peaceful and pleasant evening ahead of you. And I hope you check out our podcast as well. There'll be the links down there to be able to get them. And if you're listening to the podcast, hey, thank you so much. You're one of the first. So you're blazing trails ahead of other people. So appreciate that. All right, Chewie, let's send them out.